Finished Manhwa. Yo, got sick of catching up every week just to hang out on a cliff hook? Well, today is your lucky day since I am going to drop a list of already completed manhwa that you can binge all the way through. No waiting, no pain, just good storytelling. If you love action, romance, revenge, or that OP glow up, then there is something on this list that will hook you. So, now it's something, get into a comfy corner, and we should go and explore some manhwa that are actually complete. Next we have is Apocalyptic Super Farm. This manhwa is named Apocalyptic Super Farm and it is sick. As a global apocalypse happened due to a solar eclipse, our MC is gifted with a 0.0001% farming system and he uses it to transform vegetables into superpowers. Where everyone is being killed by poison foods and animals that have turned into mutants, this man is cultivating magical crops. We have tomatoes that will make your physical attributes go up, carrots that heals any ailment, and corn that puts you into the berserk mode allowing you to go rampage for 20 seconds. And get this, he is not just surviving, he is thriving. Are you a fan of OP MCs with their own systems? And do you want to see farming become the fastest means to cheat the apocalypse? Then this is your time to read Apocalyptic Super Farm. Next we have is the Immortal Emperor Luo Wuji has returned. Just picture how it would feel to be murdered by a closest, then reborn of vengeful bloodthirsty soul-powered Immortal Emperor. Luo Wuji is not here to be good anymore. He's back on Earth with godlike strength and is equipped with a scroll that can alter destiny itself. This manhwa begins with fiery vengeance, mad flexing, and the protagonist who tramples all the opponents as he steps on them like a paper. But one thing is, it is madly predictable. He never loses, girls fall over him all the time, and his ego is large and larger than the universe. Nevertheless, just in case you like overpowered MCs and chaos full of drama, here is your guilty pleasure. Next on the list is we have Mr. War, the strongest ex-soldier. And there was this one guy named George who was pretty much the most badass soldier there ever was. People used to call him Mr. War because he was so good at it, you just know scary bad at fighting. But then, he was completely screwed by his own teammates and was killed in some conspiracy thing. Plot twist, he never dies, but wakes up in this complete nightmare called Industrial West Island. Now, he finds himself at the bottom of the food chain as one of the worthless slaves called Michiho. But this is the thing, he retains all his military talents and his big brain of his. Of course, going to climb his way back to take revenge on all those that betrayed him. To be frank, the environment is quite brutal. If you want some revenge story manhwa, then you can definitely read this. Next one on the list is Hard Carry Support. This guy was the #1 player in the world until he made one stupid mistake. Han in Star Player Supporter, legend of an MMO who controlled an MMO for 8 years. He is willing to be the ruler once more when the game receives a VR remake. But when he's creating his character, he ends up accidentally selecting support class, the least useful build. All the peoples are mocking the drunken king. He's thrown out of his guild. But this is what they did not realize. This lunatic was an 8 years master of his secret, whereas level 40 guilds are being cleared by bosses. He's getting through impossible dungeons with perfect timing and hidden mechanics. So, leave a like if you are prepared to see the craziest manhwa gaming comeback of all time. Moving on, we have Shinkon's One Coin Clea. The protagonist is a top-tier pro gamer from an old VR game which hardly anyone can remembers. But his sister is stuck in that game Dantalion, which is the hottest VR game on the market. This isn't your usual MMORPG. A deadly glitch trapped millions of players inside and 20 million players died trying to escape. Yeah, it's basically that SAO vibes. Despite never touching Dantalion, our MC jumps into this game with pure determination to save his only family. He is not perfect, and the story isn't groundbreaking. Watching his try to save his sister make this worthy to read. And finally, we have his Updator. Updater is much more than a revenge story. It begins with the character named Aiton, who is a glitched NPC who has lost everything due to the destruction of his town by a system admin. However, due to that malfunction, he becomes an Updater. In other words, an administrator who can modify the code of his world in a way. The art itself is A+ all the way, and the characters super well written. You are are genuinely concerned about their hardships and their problems. The story of Aiden has an emotional strength to it as he aids people and at the same time figures out the truth within the machinery. Updator is a must-read because you will get a smart, emotional manhwa with a real character growth. Moving on to the list is we have I Became a Childhood Friend of a Mid-Level Boss. Suppose you were going to be reincarnated into a game as a character in the most useless class possible. What would you do? The exact thing Duke Junyu winds up with is that he is the black sheep born in an illustrious family of swordsmen, weak and clumsy. However, after a new transfer student shows up, he learns that the child is a villain of the future who is going to literally end the world. Huh? What is the brilliant strategy? Make him friends before he goes into complete dark mode. Yup, it is all friendship, manipulation, and unintentional madness. A funny, weirdly pure manhwa with the MC as a nice guy stat. Absolute no power fantasy. Next on the list is Superhuman Battlefield. 17 years ago, this absolute badass called Seo Moon Yeop saved the whole world and died in the process. Now, Korea is getting whipped in Espa VR fight and nobody remembers what a true hero looks like anymore. However, here is what happened. This madman has just risen out of the grave. I mean, I'm not going to pretend. This is not the first time that the story is being told. It is the dead hero who must prove himself once again and blah blah blah. However, this is what made me quite interested. These characters feels real. They also do not exist to make the MC look good. They all have their personalities and by chapter 100, you truly care about what happens to them. Action is bloody, the art is expressive, and the redemption narrative is bitterer than the things X gives you on Instagram. Every now and then you can get away with less revolutionary and more damn good storytelling. Okay, we are almost at the end of our list, and next one we have is how a former pro takes advantage by doing an easy job. Ariel has spent 100 lives in absolute all worlds, magic, martial arts, even sci-fi. He no longer chases powers as he is in Life 101. This time he desires easy life, money and tranquility. And honestly, it works. He does not make a show but plays smarter managing lands, sensible use of magic and avoiding royal melodrama. He is not an average OP hero. He is relaxed, witty and cautious. There are some painfully slow moments as well as some funny moments too. But the fact is, if you are sick of loud and goofy MCs, this is quite a welcome and a decent read. And last but not the least, we have Legend of the Northern Blade. This manhwa is so damn good that it will literally spoil any other Murum series to you. Our MC, move on. His dad was framed on treason charges, disbanded their legendary sect, and took his life so that his son could live. This kid is now living the life of a prisoner under supervision. But here is the crazy thing, and this is how it ends up crazier than ever before. And there you go. Manhwa that are 100% packed and ready to go on a binge without having to worry. Tell me down in the comments which one hit the hardest or which one I might have missed that you think everybody should read. Don't forget to like, subscribe and ring my bell so you will not miss out on any more fire racks just like this. See you next time.